Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal, Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. The offseason is always a time full of excitement, rumors, and strategic moves, and this year is no different for the Montreal Canadiens. After an unexpected but promising 24-25 season, the Canadiens have been very active during the summer, loading up their roster with the goal of not just returning to the playoffs, but making a deeper, more meaningful run. And one of the most talked about potential moves involves a trade that could really shift the balance in the Atlantic Division, and potentially in the entire Eastern Conference. The Canadiens, as many of you know, have been looking to strengthen their top six. That's where they've been focusing their attention, adding a reliable scoring winger to complement their core, someone who can provide consistent defense and bring some stability to the lineup. Now, ideally, Montreal would love to add a center, someone who can slot into that second-line role and really help organize the attack from down the middle. But as we all know, finding a solid second-line center in the trade market is easier said than done. Wingers, on the other hand, are more plentiful and often easier to acquire, especially from teams that are in rebuild mode or looking to shed cap space. And that brings us to the intriguing trade idea that has been buzzing around, courtesy of Heavy Sports. The proposal: Montreal could target Jonathan Marchessault from the Nashville Predators. Now, this isn't just a random name being thrown out there. Marchessault is a proven scorer, a player who has a knack for finding the net and creating offensive chances, something Montreal desperately needs. While he might not be exactly what the Canadiens are looking for in terms of a second-line center, he can certainly fill a prominent role on the wing and bring that scoring touch that could elevate their top six. Think about it. Whether it's Kirby Dach or Alex Newhook down the middle, Marchessault's presence on the wing offers Montreal a more reliable and consistent scoring option. Patrick Lane's health and consistency are often questioned, and that uncertainty makes adding a player like Marchessault even more appealing. His ability to produce points regularly could be a key factor in Montreal's offensive surge next season. Plus, Marchessault could be paired on the opposite flank of Ivan Demidov, the young Russian rookie who's aiming to make a splash and perhaps even contend for the Calder Trophy this upcoming season. Imagine those two working side by side. Demidov's speed and skill combined with Marchessault's scoring touch could create a dangerous duo on the ice. It would give Montreal a formidable top line, one that can challenge opponents night after night. That's exactly the kind of boost they need if they want to push further into the playoffs and make a real statement this year. Now, let's look at the other side of this potential deal. The Nashville Predators, after a disappointing 66-point campaign last season, are clearly in rebuild mode. Moving on from a veteran like Marchessault, who is now 34 years old, makes a lot of sense from their perspective. They could shed his $5 million cap hit, which is a significant savings, and use that cap space to acquire future assets or to sign younger players to develop their roster. It's a classic rebuild move, getting draft capital in exchange for an experienced player who has a lot to offer, but perhaps doesn't fit their long-term plans anymore. And for Nashville, this trade could be a win-win. They could get some draft picks or prospects in exchange for Marchessault, helping them rebuild their core with younger talent. But for Montreal, this move would be about adding that scoring punch, that reliable winger who can step in immediately and make a difference. It's about building a more dynamic top six that can compete with the best in the conference. Looking at Marchessault's career, he's amassed some impressive numbers: 251 goals and 292 assists for a total of 543 points in 716 regular season NHL games. Not to mention, he's been a clutch performer in the playoffs, with 36 goals and 40 assists in 102 postseason appearances. His most notable moment, of course, came during the 2023 playoffs when he played a pivotal role for the Vegas Golden Knights, helping them secure their first Stanley Cup title and earning the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. That kind of experience and that winning mentality could be exactly what Montreal needs to push their team over the edge. But, as with any trade, there are considerations. Montreal would need to get creative in terms of cap space, figuring out how to fit Marchessault's salary within their roster. It's not always straightforward, especially with other moves and contracts to consider. However, given the Canadiens' recent activity and their desire to make a splash this offseason, it's certainly within the realm of possibility. And let's not forget, adding a player like Marchessault would also send a message to the rest of the league. Montreal is serious about contending again. They're not just building for the future, they want to compete now. And that's a mindset that can energize the entire locker room, excite the fanbase, and make the Canadiens a team to watch in the upcoming season. Now, if you're a Canadiens fan, you're probably wondering, how does this fit into their overall strategy? Well, it all comes down to finding that perfect blend of young talent and veteran experience. Montreal has some promising prospects and skilled players, but sometimes, adding that proven scorer can make all the difference. Marchessault, with his playoff experience and ability to perform under pressure, could be that missing piece that helps Montreal go from being a playoff team to a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. And beyond just the immediate impact, it's about setting a tone for the season. A message that Montreal is back in the hunt, ready to take on the best in the league. The Atlantic Division is fierce, no doubt. You've got teams like Tampa Bay, Boston, and Toronto, all loaded with talent and playoff experience. For the Canadiens to rise above and make a real run, they need to make smart, bold moves. Trading draft capital for a player like Marchessault could be one of those bold moves that pays off big time. This potential trade also sparks conversations about the core of the Canadiens. Players like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki are already building a foundation, but they need more supporting pieces to truly maximize their talent. A scorer like Marchessault could take some pressure off Caulfield, allowing him to flourish and find more space to operate. It's about creating a balanced, dangerous attack that can challenge any team on any given night. And let's remember, the Canadiens have a passionate fanbase that's been through a lot in recent years. They've seen ups and downs, rebuilds, and hope for a return to greatness. Making a move like this would reignite that hope, energize the stands, and show that management is serious about winning now. It's a move that could turn the tide, not just for next season but for the years to come. So, while the trade isn't finalized yet, the discussions are definitely heating up. Rumors like this get fans excited, and rightly so. It's all about building a team that can not only make the playoffs but compete at the highest level and bring the Stanley Cup back to Montreal. The passion runs deep for this franchise, and moves like acquiring a player of Marchessault's caliber could be exactly what's needed to get them one step closer. In the end, it's about making smart, strategic decisions, understanding the team's needs, and knowing how to leverage assets for maximum impact. Montreal's front office has shown they're willing to be aggressive this offseason, and a trade like this could be the next big chapter in their quest for hockey supremacy. And for us fans, it's an exciting time. There's a lot to look forward to, and the upcoming season could be one of the most thrilling in recent memory. So keep your eyes peeled, stay tuned, and let's see how this story unfolds. Because if Montreal manages to land Marchessault, it could be a game changer, not just for the team's roster but for their entire playoff outlook. The Canadiens are hungry for success, and with moves like this, they're signaling that they're ready to fight for every inch on that ice. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think adding Jonathan Marchessault could be the spark that propels Montreal into serious Stanley Cup contention? Or do you believe they should focus on developing their young core and building from within? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. Remember, the offseason is just getting started, and there are plenty of twists and turns ahead. I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. We're in this together, and the passion for this team runs deep. Thanks for watching, and let's keep the hockey talk alive.